Hello everybody, Dr. Alex Vasquez here. Sometime in the middle of January of 2024, I'm actually editing the spontaneous video that I recorded, I believe it was Monday or Tuesday. So this is going to be a spontaneous video on top of that spontaneous video. So I recorded a spontaneous video of about 2 hours, and then I edited it. I finished editing it yesterday, and now I'm editing it again. And in the process of editing it again, of course, I'm discovering some new insights and new opportunities to explain what the hell it is I'm talking about.
It's very hard to find your own words, but you don't actually exist until you have your own words.
So just now, while I just now finished editing the first 30 minutes between last night and today. And when I reached the end of that first 30 minutes of that 2-hour video, I realized what I was talking about.
It's very hard to find your own words, but you don't actually exist until you have your own words. So then you try to teach yourself how to speak your own truth, and you listen to other people while you're doing that because they can help you shape and correct your words. They'll react to them badly if you formulate your ideas badly, and if you listen and pay attention, then you can learn to formulate your words more and more clearly and accurately, and that makes you more and more powerful. It gives you more and more authority, which is the beneficial form of power.
And so I'm going to explain that right now. I'm going to explain what I consider to be the first 3 sections of that video. I'm going to explain that right now just to help people orient to the material. So, as I've said before, the topic is medical mismanagement of chronic pain. That's the topic. So in the first 15 minutes, is that correct? Yeah, I'm dividing this into 15-minute segments for the sake of making progress in a stepwise manner for one, but also being able to upload these videos to a new YouTube channel that I created because all my other YouTube channels are blocked. So they limit me to 15 minutes. So that's okay. I'm just trying to do this in 15-minute chunks. So I did 15 minutes last night, and then I was working on 15 minutes this morning. And then I stepped away from it for a few minutes, and then I realized exactly what it is I was specifically stating. And so I want to articulate that right now very quickly, of course, as quickly as I can, just to help orient people to the material. So we could say that the first 15 minutes, I'm basically just introducing the topic and trying to get oriented because, like I said before, it was spontaneous. So the first 15 minutes, I'm kind of orienting to the problem of what I consider to be the medical mismanagement of chronic pain. And I'm basically I'm introducing the questions that I'm going to ask, those generally being, what the hell is going on here? So that's a little bit crude, perhaps, but that's the way that I perceive it, even though I didn't state it as such. But I was basically introducing the question, why does the medical profession mismanage chronic pain? They readily acknowledge, if you look at the review articles, etc., and if you look at the expenses, the expenses of pain management are greater than all of the other major diseases. So let me pull up that quote very quickly here. I put it in the video yesterday. Of course, this program can't simply give me what I want. I have to dig for a minute, even though I was just here yesterday. Pain costs in 2011. Conclusion of this book. It was actually a book that was published on the economy of healthcare expenses. The conclusion from this book, published in 2011 in the United States, we found that the annual cost of pain was greater than the annual costs in 2010 US dollars for heart disease, cancer, and diabetes, and nearly 30% higher than the combined cost of cancer and diabetes. That's amazing. The total financial cost of pain to society, which combines the healthcare estimates and the 3 productivity estimates, ranges from $560 to $635 billion in 2010 dollars. Again, the final phrase of the concluding sentence: the annual cost of pain is nearly 30% greater than the combined cost of cancer and diabetes. That's just amazing. So the outcomes of the medical management of what we could call either chronic pain or chronic pain conditions or chronic conditions that result in pain, all of those are very different. The combined costs are enormous and the outcomes are pathetic. They're horrible. A lot of the medical interventions are no better than placebo, and we've known that for decades, and nothing changes. So, for example, I remember back in 2006 when I was doing certain presentations related to integrating nutrition into clinical practice. I remember then I used the example of how arthroscopic surgery for osteoarthritis of the knee had been shown to be no better than a sham procedure. That was so I was lecturing on that back in 2005, 2006. That line of research has been replicated numerous times, but they still keep doing the same thing. They've proven in the research, I believe most of these articles have been published in the New England Journal of Medicine. So no one can say they didn't know about it or it was a super specialty journal over here that no one read. No, it was in the New England Journal of Medicine, and that was recycled in the New York Times, etc. So we know that medical pain management is outrageously expensive and outrageously ineffective. So ineffective that it's equivalent many times, to doing nothing. And so why do we keep doing it? That's the question that's the question that I'm addressing in this 2-hour video. So I introduce that topic in the first 15 minutes, and I'm basically saying, what the hell are we doing here? That's the intro of the first 15 minutes. Then the second 15 minutes has 2 sections in it, which perfectly end at the 30-minute mark, thankfully, because I just now finished editing that this morning. And the questions the issues and questions that I address in the second 15 minutes are event model processing, or let me see exactly how they state it, because I do reference a few articles. So I look at one article from Trends in Cognitive Sciences, Constructing Experience, Event Models from Perception to Action. And the comment that I make based on a review of this article, which was a bit of a tangent, but it actually turned out to be important. So in the second of the 15 minutes of this video, I go on a few tangents, but those tangents actually ended up being perhaps perfect for the conversation. So the second topic, or tangent perhaps, was event models. Because as I stated early in the video, the rather abstract question that I'm trying to address here, even though I'm trying to ultimately end up with concrete actionable data, of course, that we can use in pain management, the first level of approximation has to be trying to understand exactly how we as human beings understand reality. And so that's why I looked at some of these articles from Trends in Cognitive Sciences, the construction of experience. How do we construct our experience? Event models from perception to action. And I commented in reviewing this article briefly in the video. They talk about event models from perception to action. And I commented that they skipped something here, right? So they went from perception to action, but they skipped something in the middle. This turned out to be an important article, especially when we reference it with a different article. Let me look at the other article. I'm looking at one article right now, but that's not the article. So I have to go to the other one that I reference in the video. This article from Frontiers in Neurorobotics was published in October of 2020. Perception, Understanding, Action. Oh, this is good. This is good. So, as I point out in the second chunk of 15 minutes in the video, what's missing in the event model that was presented in the other article, what's missing was the intermediate step of understanding. So I'll change colors just to make it stand out. So then, the third part, and then I'll go back to the second that I'm mentioning right now. The third part that I get into is another tangent, talking about education. And specifically, I get into this model of education that I don't like, called Bloom's taxonomy. So this is a very dominant model in education. Commonly, it's represented as a pyramid, as I showed in the video. And the bottom of the pyramid, the most basic level of education, is just memorization. And the highest level is synthesis and application and understanding. Let me see if I can see it real quick. Let's see exactly. Right, so Bloom's taxonomy, the model that's shaped as a pyramid, has been revised at least once. And according to the one that I'm looking at right now that's in the video, the top of their pyramid is creation, evaluation, and analysis. And apply is actually in the middle. So they just say create, evaluate, and create. So I've hated this model for literally decades, but exactly right now I think I understand why at a deeper level. Evaluate and create is what they say. So I come in with fire and brimstone and say that model is a poor model of education, because the ultimate goal of education should be to empower students, people, professionals to predict the future. And not just in some weird esoteric way that we usually would think of prediction, but based on pattern recognition. So, I mean, it's a completely logical extension of the educational model that going through education we would learn enough data to recognize patterns that we could anticipate in the future even before they've played out.